Hey guys, welcome to day one of our virtual summit where we are bringing you some tips to navigate uncertainty. My name is LaDondra Hervey. I will be your host over these next 2 weeks where we will just be coming to you with guest panel and experts who are my trusted friends and colleagues who are experts in their own right. And they will be providing you with some tips, some tools, inspiration, and practical tips to help you navigate through all of the drama and chaos that's going on with COVID. So, today I have a special guest for you. She is a friend, she is a colleague, she is someone I respect her work and what she do. And with all the things that's going on, Kathy is going to help us to navigate uncertainty with mindful action. So, Kathy, welcome to this virtual summit. Thank you for your yes and being here and willing to contribute your knowledge. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, all of that good stuff?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be part of this. So my name is Kathy Taylor, and I have a company called Herdwise. And so what we do there is through working with horses, I help committed and curious leaders learn to get out of their own way so they can make a difference. And usually those kind of people are struggling with perfectionism, people pleasing, and proving. And so if we sort of pull back and slow down and reflect and figure out why we're doing that, then we can get those things out of the way and we can move forward.
That's awesome work, Kathy. And with the work that you do, it requires a lot of connection, it sounds like to me, where you're helping them to connect to themselves through the work that you do with the horses. Is that correct?
Yeah, connection is definitely a major part of it. A lot of the problems that we create ourselves or that we have to deal with on a regular basis um, are patterns that we learned when we were little, before we even knew that learning was possible, that from 0 to 2.
Yeah.
And they, our brain just kind of got some signals that worked then, but they don't work so well when we're older. So learning how to recognize that we can let go of some of those patterns and use some new ones, use some new strategies,
Yeah.
and reconnecting back with ourselves is a good way to do that.
Yeah, I think that's all relevant right now with everything that's going on with COVID-19 and the coronavirus and just everything. So for you, what's going on? Like, what has been your experience with COVID-19 up to this point?
My experience has been that most of my anxiety about it has really come from paying too much attention to social media.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting to me that I've noticed that when I get anxious, what I try to do is control other people. Like I want to say, oh, you shouldn't think this, you should think this way, and you should be doing what I think you should be doing. And I thought, wow, that's a really that's a really interesting thing for me to be doing. I should probably stop doing that because that's a major boundaries issue. And if we can all just each mind ourselves and take care of ourselves and help the other people if they kind of get a little freaked out, as we can all easily do these days, then we can sort of breathe and come down off of that chaotic high.
Yeah, so being really aware of what you're going through is going to be a big piece in that. And I think that we all have experienced a little bit of anxiety up to this point because our norm has been disrupted. So what have you noticed about others as it in the marketplace and in just in general, in families and professionals, just in general, what have you noticed that's been their experiences just through your observation?
Well, it's just like you said, the whole title of this summit is navigating uncertainty, and that's what we're all dealing with right now, is that uncertainty. So when we don't know what's happening, because this is a new thing, our brain literally tries to put it into some sort of category for us, and if it can't, it starts making up stories about what things mean,
Mm-hmm.
which may or may not be true. They may just be They're just based on those patterns we have from when we were little. So that creates anxiety in us. And so we feel unsafe in our own selves, in our world. And that makes us sort of want to self-protect. And that's where all that hoarding instinct comes from.
Yeah.
We all say how horrible it is, and it's not great, but it's the way our brain is designed to try to conserve those resources. But if we can all just take a deep breath and sort of use our whole brain instead of just those lower regions.
Yeah.
Take a breath and connect all those different regions. Then we're better able to think through the things and respond instead of just react.
That's good. So when we can say, and I know you've explained it just a little bit, but when we hear the word unsafe, I feel like it makes us think kind of like a fight or flight kind of response, like I don't feel safe. Is that what you're meaning right now in this moment, as we are embracing the uncertainties, or what do you mean by it from your work and from a mindful standpoint?
Yeah, it's that fight or flight. So our brain doesn't know the difference between a physical threat and an emotional threat. It responds the same way, or a mental and emotional threat. So we get into that fight, flight, or freeze. So we stop. We say, "Oh, I'm going to social distancing." The introverts are like, "Okay, I'm going to go isolate," and then we go and we want to go and be totally by ourselves, leave me alone, don't come near me. But actually what we really need is that connection, because it's the connection with others that help us feel safe, because connection involves the entire part of the brain, all the parts.
So basically, social distancing doesn't mean social isolation. So we need to find those ways where we can continually find connection. So what would be 3 tips that you would have to provide a practical way where people can take mindful action and connect in a way that's meaningful to them so they can navigate uncertainty?
Okay. Well, one of my favorite things to do is, if you can get out in nature, even if it's just going in the backyard, if you live on a busy street, maybe there's a strip of grass, or maybe there's, can you just open up your window and listen to the birds sing? It's springtime, and we think that, or we forget that there's spring, and then there's going to be summer, and then there's going to be fall, and then, all of that is a rhythm. And so if you can just kind of get out in nature and pay attention to that, maybe sit down and close your eyes and think and listen, say to yourself, what are 5 things that I can see around me? What are 4 things that I can hear? What are 3 things that I can touch? What are 2 things I can smell? And maybe what's 1 thing that I can taste? And just go through that very quietly and very mindfully, and it'll help you bring yourself back to the present. And it'll slow your heart rate down, and it'll slow all those crazy brain waves down so that you don't feel so anxious. So that's 1 thing. Get out into nature and do that.
Okay.
Number 2 would be, I sort of mentioned it before with springtime, it's rhythm. Our brains love rhythm. So whether that's music, like you're listening to music, or maybe you're creating your own by drumming or tapping or something like that, swaying back and forth. I know we've all been in groups of women where I look around and everyone's swaying back and forth.
Yes.
And that's just something very that our brains really like. It's a regulating thing, and that's what's going on. Our brains are not regulated, so if we can use that rhythm to regulate ourselves.
When you were swaying just now, I felt like swaying with you. So
yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then another kind of rhythm you can think of is, what's the rhythm of your day? Can you get up at the same time? Can you eat breakfast at the same time? Work with the kids at the same time, or whatever your typical routine is. The more you can stay in that routine, the more you will feel safe and connected, because it's connected to something. It's connected to your routine, to the people that you're interacting with, and that sort of thing. Another thing that's really great is, there is always something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So just to be have that attitude of gratitude. maybe you want to wake up every morning and the first thing you do is you write down 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Um, I even saw just on Facebook today a couple times someone had posted something about, we've got internet and comfortable homes, and it's, and we're all inside or whatever. And even though there's all this other stuff going on, we still can be grateful for those things. We're not
Yeah.
in the middle of we're not getting blown up or anything like that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome tips, Kathy. I love how you're putting it together to where it's not anything that's complicating, or it's simple tactical things that we can do to connect with ourselves, connect with nature, and connect with others. So I appreciate that, especially like shifting the rhythm of things, because if you get involved with the rhythm and flow of what's going on with the news and all the negativity, then
Mm-hmm.
that starts to disrupt the patterns in your brain, and then it just sends you all just out of whack. But these are some ways to just bring it back. So for people who are there and they are already feeling some type of emotion in their body, rather unconsciously or consciously, can you walk us through like a visualization of a way that we can move that negative energy into something positive?
Sure. There's a couple things we can do. One sort of easy thing though is, first of all, I would encourage everyone to make that um, make that sensation that you're feeling, make it conscious. Like if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling afraid, where do you feel that in your body? So for example, I guess it was maybe about 10 days ago when it was sort of just ramping up all this COVID-19 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple days when I was doing that controlling stuff
Yeah.
where I just felt like there was all this anxiety, and it was like, to me, it felt like black swirly things just kind of going on inside my body. And so I thought, okay, what, I don't know what that is, and that's okay. You don't have to know what it is, but just acknowledge what it is. You don't need to judge it, just say that's what it is. So if you've got something like that, can you then, first I would breathe, and then think about so imagine that you are now looking at yourself having this anxiety. So I want you to pretend that you're looking at a photograph of yourself having this anxiety. What's around you? What are you wearing? All that sort of stuff. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And then can you take that picture, because now you're looking at yourself as if you're in a photograph. Can you take that picture? And a lot of times, how people say, she was all in my face, right? Because whatever's coming at them is like literally right there in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if that anxiety or whatever is right in your face, and you can even do this physically, and it'll add another layer of depth to it. So take that picture that you feel like is right here and just like push it far away, 3 feet away, 10 feet away, 50 feet away. Keep pushing it away as far as you can, and make it black and white, make it small. You might want to push it over to the left. If it's been a movie, like if you see a still picture, if you see a movie, if you can make it into a still picture, you can do these things you can add some fun circus music to it. That'll make it lighter, and all those things will help to diminish it. And so then now notice how is your anxiety and where do you feel it now? And I'm pretty sure that it should be lower, and you should be able to breathe more easily and then connect back to yourself. It's just a good way to, in the moment, kind of get things out of the way and clear things away.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Because even just listening to you, like everything felt smaller. Like I didn't expect that to happen, but just as I was listening and going through the visualization in my mind with you, then like even giving it another color, it just changed my perspective about it. And then it just seemed like it became smaller, and literally I pushed it over into a corner. And that's where it is right now. It just feels like whatever was going on, it's in a corner. And I think that's so important that you brought that to the surface, because now we've identified what's going on. We became aware, we became present of what's going on. we've given it a shape, we've given it a form, and now we've placed it in another, it's somewhere else that's not connected to our joy, our peace, our happiness, all of that. So that's really good. So what would you do? What would be some words of encouragement that you would offer someone who's feeling those feelings of uncertain? What would be some tangible words that you would want them to hold on to during this time and season?
Well, I think one of the reasons that we feel so uncertain right now is because all of the things that we have put our faith and security in have kind of gone. All the things that we thought we could always count on, they're gone. And it's kind of like we're all with the emperor's new clothes. We all realize, oh my gosh, I don't have control over anything really. And you can go, oh my gosh, and freak out about it, or you can go, wow, I really never had control to begin with. And now I have the truth in front of me. But the one thing that we always have control of and always had control of was ourselves. What we choose to think about, the responses that we make, and what we choose to do. So we always have that choice. So we still have control of ourselves. So you might not have control of the environment and everything that's going around you, but you still have control of yourself. And that is a huge joy and a gift.
Yes, yourself and your response. That's good. Well, thank you for that. This has been an amazing session of learning how to reconnect with ourselves and how to, through mindful action, and how to just take some simple steps, because if you do anything other than that and staying present in the moment, it becomes overwhelming. So I really appreciate that you share this knowledge and your wisdom in this session today. And for those of you who are listening, take this recording, listen to it again, share it with a friend, because we need to inspire hope, possibility, help people to get back reconnected with themselves and their mission, their work, and whatever their families and whatever it is that they have going. And you can do that by taking mindful action. So our heart in this summit is to give back. Rather, that's giving back. One of those ways of us giving back is through these expert interviews. And I've asked our experts to if they had any resources that they could provide during this time. And so, Kathy, for you, do you have any free resources that you could provide our listeners that would help during this time?
Yes. So I will be sending you a link so that you've got it and you can give it to the listeners of just a 5-minute video that's just quiet and peaceful, and it's going to be birds twittering and horses munching and that sort of thing.
Nice.
Also, there's some great apps out there like Calm or Headspace that are good for helping you breathe and sort of give you some guided meditation. Okay. And then I've also got a great friend, Bob Hamp, who is author of Think Differently, Live Differently, and some other Live Differently books. And and they are actually available for the next 4 weeks, free on Apple Books, cool. Or you can get them for just 99 cents at on Kindle. And I mean, I'm not any sort of affiliate or anything. I just am a huge fan of Bob Hamp and the way that he thinks. So yeah.
And Bob Hamp he's a Christian writer who focuses on what?
He's a Christian counselor, and he focuses on helping you to think differently. That basically that dying to ourself is more about killing our false self and allowing our new man to emerge. Yeah. And that's done through receiving, containing, and broadcasting the breath of God.
Perfect. Okay. So those resources are on, you said Apple Books, and then for free for the next few weeks, and then on Kindle for 99 cents. And then did you have one more resource?
There's the Calm app. And then I'll have a PDF that people can download of a book that I've done called Straight from the Horse's Mouth, the ABCs of Personal Leadership.
I love that title, Straight from the Horse's Mouth. So Hey guys, you've heard it straight from the horse's mouth today, and it has been phenomenal. So, Kathy, if you have, okay, so we're all in like quarantine right now, and do you have some quick fun tips for those who are in home, like that you would suggest as just a fun thing as we wrap up?
Yeah, I think it's really important to continue to move because everyone's like, oh, let's just sit down and watch Netflix. But can you get up and move? So go get yourself a hula hoop and do some hula hooping. That's a little bit of rhythm right there. Your brain will
Yeah.
do that. Um, a puzzle is a great thing to do, and I think for a couple of reasons. Because a puzzle, it's something that you can complete, and there's a place for everything, and so your brain likes that. That's very comforting to us. And then I just like that Marco Polo app because it's a little more fun to sort of text people back and forth on videos and you can see their faces. So I love Marco Polo.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Well, this has been like a phenomenal interview, and it sounds like what you do is some deep work, and it requires people to just to go there, you know. So if people have questions on how they can be more mindful in this time or anything else about the work that you do or anything, how can they connect further with you for questions or more information?
They can reach me at my website, which is herdwiseleadershipcoaching.com, or just email me straight away at Kathy with a K at herdwise.net.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you again, Kathy, for being a guest here and teaching us how to navigate uncertainty during the time where we feel uncertain and how we can take mindful action. This has been an amazing interview. And guys, be sure to show up with us tomorrow because we'll be back tomorrow premiering at 7 p.m. And we will be here for the next 2 weeks. And then on Friday, we will have open Q&A live on Facebook where you can ask any of your burning questions with our experts. So make sure that you are here, you like our page and at My Soul Biz, and turn on your notifications, share it with a friend if it has been beneficial to you. And we hope that we have inspired some hope and possibility in you today. Be blessed.